First things first, get the seat and the seat brackets and everything out of there. And get the seat bracket off because we still need to finish welding that. Then I have to clean everything up. And this is the process I absolutely hate. Process that I'm at right now. And you clean everything, like vacuum it out, and then scrub it, and then vacuum it, and then clean it to paint it, right? Now the scrubbing part is like you just take a Scotch-Brite pad and it's good. Problem is that right there, it's like a 30-year-old shop vac, and it's had enough. It hates me. It's dead. You can see a haze in here, maybe. I try to get most of it out. I open the doors and try to get most of it out. It just starts billowing white smoke, and it stinks so bad. It blew pretty much half the dust that was inside the whatever vacuum box out. I don't exactly know. And it made a horrendous sound. It sounded like the motor seized up is what it was. And I barely even started using it. I got a little bit of the floor vacuumed and it goes wah! Yeah, it pooed. It pooed. So, oh, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, so there's really nothing I can do tonight. It is what it is. See, I try to accomplish something. I try to make a good, fulfillful episode, and tools are dying. Damn. Alright, so you see me with a ton of crap. That's because I just went on a shopping spree. There's some stuff we needed to buy. I opted to go ahead and spend almost twice as much money and got the 4-gallon 5.5 horsepower. And I was like, that should work, hook it up. I'm like, man, this thing works wonders. That thing must have been wearing out for a while. No, it's just 1 horsepower. So, that kind of explains a lot. Now, let me address the elephant. It's not really an elephant. That's an elephant. This is more like baby elephant. Not even baby elephant. It's a 90 amp Chicago Electric flux core welder. I had one guy, we were BSing about this car because he's working on a car too. And I was telling him about trying to deal with cleaning for the TIG, and he's like, man, why even mess with it? He's like, is it going to be visible? Well, no. We were talking about the floor plates and then the strut tower back here. I'm like, no, it's going to be behind carpet or a firewall. And he made a great suggestion. This is an older gentleman. He goes, why the hell don't you dirty weld it? Dirty weld? And he goes, just flux core it. I never even thought about that. And then I talked to Cody today. I had to go by and fix one of their work computers. He just goes, well, why you buy one? Took his out of his garage and handed it to me. And was like, take this home, play with it, see if you like it. If you like it, buy one. Sure thing. I'm actually going to play with it. I'm going to grab some of the little weld things that I have, and I'm going to play with it, see how well it gaps, see how well it cleans up, because it really doesn't matter how well it cleans up, but like starting, stopping, I know the technique behind it, I just don't have the experience. So I'm going to play with it a little bit, and then we're going to weld up the floors, because this is going to be so much easier. I don't have to close that gap or have to fill it. Like, the wire will fill it. It's going to be stupid easy. Hopefully. Cross my fingers. Let's get to this. That absolutely does not work at all. That looks more like it. So, I knew better. I don't have the proper welding gloves, and I knew there'd be spatter, so I didn't want to mess up my good ones. Or, yeah, they're good. They work very well. Harbor Freight Vulcan, 20 bucks or something. I think they were like 10 bucks or something. I don't remember. It works just fine. It's not pretty, but either is my TIGs, and I don't have to clean anything. It's gonna be nice. I can bridge the gaps easier. I can do everything easier. Now, I'm not going to do anything that's cosmetic. Absolutely not. It's really dirty. It's really ugly. But I think it'll work just fine. So, let's do my atypical fashion, where we barely do anything at all, and then we jump onto the car and screw something up and have to fix it. Let's go do that. It's working fine. I look up underneath the car, I'm getting penetration all the way through. It is catching underneath the car on fire, and that's just because the undercoating, I didn't clean it off for that. When I tacked it, I didn't bother cleaning it off like I did for the big patch on the driver's side. You know, I cleaned all that out. I didn't on this one. There was really no point. Not for this, obviously, but it does catch on fire, so I need to get my fan, set it up, and blow it across the underneath of the car, and then I won't have that problem. Major problem though, my auto darkening helmet will not work with it. I'm like seeing dots. It's not bad, but with the auto darkening, it getting bright dark so quick, you know, there's not a constant arc. It's causing the lens to darken, undarken, darken, undarken, darken, darken. Maybe, let me play with it a little bit. First off, there was that. There was a spot weld from the factory that I had drilled out, and I guess the metal was a little thin, and I blew it out, and when I blew that out, instantly got the underneath of the car on fire. And normally when it cools, the fire will go out. Not in that case. I just reached up underneath the car, rubbed it with my hand, and it put the fire out. I mean, no big deal. And that's when I got the fan. You can barely see the edge of the fan, I think. I got the fan, it was up underneath the car, blowing across underneath the car. I had to open up the doors, because it started getting smoky in here. Because they didn't clean the floorboards. The other side was clean. This side was not, because I only tacked this side. That side I started to weld, so before I welded it, I did, and where that patch was, I cleaned up all the floor. But it's there, they're all welded, they're good. And then I started using my new grinder and my old grinder with wire wheels and going over all the interior of the car. holy rust, it's rusty. Yeah, it's rusty. It's actually eating the rust and eating the bad metal out. So what it is, old gentleman, I don't know, a handful of days ago, whatever, sitting there BSing with him, and I was like, yeah, next thing I got to do on the car is I got to sand down all the interior and deal with the rust and get a rust converter and blah, 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 blah. Problem with rust converter is they don't get that far down in there because they don't eat at it. They just kind of convert what's a little bit there. Now, if it's really on the surface, then yeah, it'll go ahead and do it. But if you've got any amount of rust there or anything that's trying to rust, it's not going to really do it. And the gentleman said, look, why don't you vinegar it? That's what we used to do. Vinegar. And he goes, yeah, you just go out and get some cleaning vinegar at Walmart for a few bucks, get a gallon of it. And he said, dilute it with water, like a 4-to-1, 3-to-1, somewhere around there. And mine's somewhere around there. He said, spray it down, cover the living hell out of it, let it dry. And he's like, and it will look crazy. He said, it'll turn the metal funny colors, it'll leave a nasty film on it. He said, but what it does is it molecularly goes down into that rust and eats the rust out. So if you got 6-7 layers of surface rust, it'll eat all those layers of rust off and leave you with a clean metal. Interesting thing. I used the Harbor Freight rust converter, and it converted the whole top layer over there on the driver's side, and you saw there's rust there. It didn't penetrate. It just simply converted the top layer, and eventually in 6 months, a year, it'd be rusty again. Because eventually it will get moisture and it will rust again. Especially if there's rust already there. It's going to pull moisture from somewhere. Or someday it would get moisture and it would go ahead and rust. So I'm kind of glad I'm doing this. Because this should eat at it really well. The driver's side I never used, or passenger side I never used any rust converter. And that looks like strange. I used it on all the welds, all the stitch welding. I've used it all on the inside where there's any bare metal to make sure there's no surface rust or any oxidation or whatever. It'll eat out everything. And then I will spray a rust converter, then sand it all down, or well, I'll scuff up all the surface. I'll be doing that when I go to clean this. I'll use water and a Scotch-Brite pad and scuff the whole surface of all this interior area up to the door seal. And we're going to tape off and paint it all. The painting and stuff probably be in a different episode because this is going to take quite a while to do. 200 degrees up in this place. Whew. So basically after the vinegar stuff, I just got a squirt bottle full of water, soaked it all down, wiped it up. That's where you saw the footage. After that footage, I went ahead just as a precaution and took a piece of this. It's just a purple Scotch-Brite. It's nothing fancy. They're a few bucks at a paint store. And scrubbed it all down. Scrubbed the whole floor down. Now at this point I don't need the whole floor scrubbed down, but I did it while I was there. Just to make sure that I covered everything, because I did vinegar the whole floor. So make sure that I covered everything, got any loose paint, anything that's been eaten up off the floor. Now it still kind of needs to be re-vacuumed and prep-solved or whatever. Not worry about that right now. For this episode, the objective was to get everything ready. I was going to try to get it into paint. There's no way. There's still a lot of work. Like literally, yes, the tubs, all that stuff's all Scotch-Brited, ready to go. But we still have everything above it. Steering column has to come back out. All the bracketry up there that is staying in the car, all that has to be prepped. That's hours of work. I'm not that fast at this, and I'm very meticulous. So it'll be a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing with the back deck right now. So like the back deck area, it'll get overspray on it, but I don't know what I'm doing. I might go ahead and clean it off and just spray it. Just because I'm here, it's not like it's going to take that much more paint. There'll be blow over all around the car. I don't care. At this point, it does not matter. Seriously, does not. I'll show you what I'm talking about in the next episode. But it's a quick questionnaire for you guys. Like, we're building the new May Q&A. I've got a few questions in it, so blah, 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 whatever. My thing is, you guys like me sitting here actually like explaining what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what I've learned, and why I do it the way I do? I like doing that. I think I can turn this into, like, I love doing DIYs. And I think I can kind of turn this into a giant DIY series for part of it. Like this part, yes, I can. Some other things I can. Welding, I cannot. Absolutely not. No. I'm very specific on things that I don't know what I'm doing to explain. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't look at me for advice for this. This stuff, I know what I'm doing. I've never had issues. I've cleaned up worse rust than this. I've dealt with more rust than this. This is just very low pitted surface rust. Big deal. If everything was supposed to be perfect, I would have cut out the floor pans and put in brand new floor pans. But I'm putting carpet in this car. If I was doing some kind of show race car, then yeah, that would have to be done. Carpet. We want carpet. We want it to be OEM-esque. Like, what if OEM went stupidly insane? Kind of like that. Really, really insane. But for this episode, that is it. Thank you for watching. Have fun.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.